Good morning and congratulations for taking the first step to solving your slow money blues. My name is Doug, retired U.S. Marine and two-time combat veteran turned entrepreneur at your service. Today's episode is Yes, Yolanda. I'm super stoked about today's show. Like always, I hope you're having an amazing Tuesday. We're going to have another amazing episode. By the way, what I want you guys to do, to all of my fans out there, to all of my followers out there, I would love for you to tell at least 5 people you know that are suffering from slow money blues to tune in right now. So to ask any questions, just visit slowmoneyblues.com and click on Ask Doug or submit your question on IG, Facebook, or Twitter using hashtag Slow Money Blues. And so, as I said, today's episode is about Yes, Yolanda. So our main points that we're going to be talking about is times when you should respond yes. Times when you should respond yes. But before we continue with today's show, I always have 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 questions every Tuesday just for you. Now, first of all, did you do your homework from last week? And last week was about who? Xenophilia Xavier. And we found out that xenophilia is just basically learning about new customs, about new courtesies, and about new cultures. So the homework was to discover a new culture or custom. Hopefully you did. And if you did, we would love for you to share it with us. Just use hashtag So Many Blues and then just, type in, Xenophilia Xavier and talk about how you learned a new culture, a new custom, and really what did it do about your perspective, about how you view things. Question number 2, did you say your morning mantra? This is almost one of the best parts of the show each and every Tuesday because we get to say it together, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to say, I, state your full name, take 100% responsibility and accountability for my decisions and actions. I refuse to blame others. If I do, I give away all of my power, authority, and power given to me by God. Each and every time I say that, I get wired up, fired up, and ready to go. It definitely kickstarts my day, and hopefully kickstarts your day as well. And then finally, did you listen to the Monday sneak peek preview? As always, if you didn't, that's why you're hanging out with me today. And you can always go back and listen to that if you want to, but we're going to do a deep dive. We're going to unpack and unhack that episode right here live on the show. And of course, I got to give a big shout out to our sponsors that have been rocking with us all year long, Linky.com and BigNetDomain.com. So if you are a solopreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a dadpreneur or a mompreneur or a side hustler, or if you're trying to launch a book, or if you're trying to do some lead generation, if you're trying to do some giveaways or some promos, whatever it is you're trying to do, Linky.com is the #1 solution just for you. And if you want to see what it looks like, just go to Linky.com/Slow Money Blues. You'll see a sample of what we did, and it has so many bells and whistles. It hooks into social media. It hooks into a boatload of the streaming, audible streaming platforms, and I'm super stoked about it. This is the best part about it. You get a 7-day free trial offer, and it doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. And you don't even need a credit card. It doesn't get any better than that. So go to Linky.com, that's LIINKY.com, and sign up for your free account today. Also, BigNetDomain.com, where the net just got bigger. If you are still having a digital dilemma in 2022, oh my goodness, if you don't know how to do e-commerce, email marketing, if you don't know how to build a website, if you don't know SEO, if you don't know all of those things that I just mentioned, go there. And this is what they're doing for you, like all year. Use promo code BIGNET and get a 10% savings upon checkout. If you also need a domain name, a .com, a .net, a .us, a .club, a .xyz, a .123, and yes, those are real domain names. What I want you to do is just go and purchase that domain name, and you'll get free hosting for 1 entire year, which is really, really amazing because hosting can actually cost you a little bit of money. So that's our way of giving back to our listening audience. So go to BigNetDomain.com, where the net just got bigger, and get started today. This is the question for today. What is your first thought when asked to help? Is it yes? Is it no? Or let me think about it? Well, it depends, right? It really does depend. It depends on, one, who's asking the question and what are they asking you help for. So what is your first thought when asked to help? When Yolanda was in high school, it appeared she was a total people pleaser. When anyone asked her for help, she would always say yes. You know anybody like that? And she volunteered anywhere and everywhere help was needed. Many of her friends could not understand why Yolanda just always said yes to someone in need. Well, let's get personal. Yolanda was 9 years old when she tragically lost both parents in a car accident. All of her other family members lived in Mexico, and consequently, she became a ward of the state. Upon hearing of her tragedy, a loving family took her in and adopted her. Yolanda's Yes Foundation provides mentoring services to children who tragically lost a parent. Man, that's pretty inspiring and sad all at the same time. But imagine what you can get your motivation from. So these are times when you should absolutely respond yes. Number one, it must be mutually beneficial. I never have understood the concept of someone asking you or myself for help, particularly as it relates to solving maybe a problem that they've been dealing with for a long time, but then they don't want to pay you, right? This happens a lot with family and with friends, but perfect strangers will, no kidding, pay you for your subject matter expertise in solving their problem. I can't make this up. Believe it or not, this happens each and every day of the week. In fact, it happens every second of every hour of every day of the week. Let me explain. Say, for example, you want to go out to have lunch and you find this great restaurant. You go and you purchase the food, right? And I said you purchased the food. And so the problem was you didn't want to prepare lunch for yourself. You wanted someone else to do it, which was the problem. And you found a great restaurant to go to and you bought it and it was mutually beneficial. You received your lunch, they received payment for making your lunch, which solved the problem. Isn't that amazing? How is it that when you have a certain skill set or you have a certain education or certification that people are unwilling to pay you? And if they're unwilling to pay you to solve their problem, then the answer should be absolutely no, because it's not mutually beneficial. It's a one-sided relationship. The scales are not balanced. Oftentimes, this happens between employer and employee, and so they want your T3E3, your time, talent, training, education, experience, and energy. And you say, well, okay, how much are you willing to pay me for my T3E3? And they say this much. And it ends up not being what your number is. And so guess what? That is not mutually beneficial either. It's, once again, it's lopsided. So you should absolutely say no to that. But if you find an employer that's willing to pay you exactly what you want for your T3E3, you should absolutely say yes, because it is then mutually beneficial. So that's number one, when you should respond yes. You should also respond yes when your motivation, when the motivation is sincere. Oftentimes we as human beings, we do a lot of things not based upon like sincerity or integrity. But your motive should be sincere. It shouldn't be motivated by fear. It shouldn't be the motivation shouldn't even be by greed. You see, Yolanda's motivation was that she understood that someone radically transformed and changed her life forever after she lost her parents. So she was always highly motivated based upon the fact of just of sincerity, understanding that, hey, you know what? I have empathy towards, a child that have lost a parent or both parents tragically. So you should always respond yes, but your motive must be sincere. Now I'm going to tell you something. If your motive is not sincere, I promise you, you're going to lay up and think about it. Maybe late one evening or early morning and say, man, why did I do that? Why did I say yes? Well, if you violated the first reason of saying yes, it was a mutually beneficial, and then I promise you that the motive probably was not sincere from the beginning anyway. You see, let's talk about this in a work setting environment. When an employer intentionally attempts to lowball you or attempts to avoid you and not recognize you for what you bring to their organization, then guess what? Their motive is not sincere. Their motive is actually deceptive. And so you should always say no when the motive is, I don't think unsincere, but when it's the opposite, I say when it's deceptive, right? And then this is the other time when you should absolutely respond yes. It solves a problem. Now, typically, which this is kind of vanilla, if you will, because oftentimes we do things it's always solving a problem, right? Even if it's solving a problem for yourself. For example, like you don't know something, and you say, "Hey, man, I need to level up. I need to learn this thing. I need to master accounting in my business, and I don't, something that you don't know, which obviously that would be ignorance, right? But just because you're ignorant doesn't mean you have to stay ignorant, right? But it should absolutely so to solve the problem is to become educated, right? To know. And you should always say yes when it absolutely positively solves a problem. But understand, if you walk with me from one, two, and three, they're all hinged upon one another. So if you looked at it as a pyramid, like step one is at the bottom, it should be mutually beneficial. Then step number two, the motive must be sincere when you're saying yes. And then three, it should absolutely positively solve a problem. Because my thought process is this, right? When you're doing things and they're not solving problems, I mean, what is the benefit from it? For example, people are going on vacation. People say, well, going on vacation is not solving a problem. Of course, going on a vacation is solving a problem. You have an opportunity to relax, rejuvenate, reflect, and come back recharge, right? So that literally is. And so much of life is about solving problems, even when it looks like it's just pure pleasure, right? Which is very, very, when you just kind of think about it from that perspective, we're solving problems all the time. And most of the times when somebody is asking you to do something, it's a problem. It's a problem for them. And then you have the opportunity to say yes or no. So, what are our major takeaways? Woo, this is a good one right here. All yeses are not created equal. I remember, and I'll share a story with you. I remember when I was not financially astute, um, and I got myself in a jam. And I mean, I was in a bad jam. And if you know my story, if you listen to the first episode of when we started Slow Money Blues, you know how I was literally on the verge of bankruptcy, right? So I remember making a very foolish financial decision. The saving grace in my foolishness, right, right, was that the company that I was in bed with, they had done something illegal, and other people actually had been duped by them. Now, I looked at my contract, I read it. It was, to me, I thought it was legit. But what made it illegal was the manner in which they executed it. So what they did wasn't illegal. To lend money is not illegal, but how you do it, that could be illegal. And that's what they were actually found guilty of. And they actually had to file bankruptcy. What the best part about it was this: I was literally able to get the loan, right? I got all this money and I didn't even have to pay all of it back. Isn't that awesome? And I was going to have to pay this back for over a 5-year period. and I only end up paying it for like maybe 2 years. But I actually got the benefit of receiving all of the money, and I didn't have to give any of it back. That's amazing? So I'm just, all yeses are not created equal. So I'm just a little warning here. Whenever you're about to say yes to something, do understand that you're entering into some type of verbal contract. Verbal contracts, for the most part, will not hold up in a court of law. However, a written contract, depending on what you're signing, if it's been, and attorneys have gotten involved in it, that probably will hold up in court. So make sure you read the fine print and make sure you know what you're signing before you sign it, because signing something, a legal document, means you said yes, you agreed to it. So make sure that it's mutually beneficial when you do it. And so what is our homework for this week? That's a great question. Review your goals to see if they align with your dream. We are literally, this is the first day of November, so happy November to everyone. And I know at the beginning of the year, I'm looking at my calendar. You can't see my calendar, but I can. I'm looking at my calendar right now, and it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to double my returns on my investment. If I told you I'm going to exceed that goal, you probably say, well, it's you, Doug, right? No, this was very intentional. It was very deliberate. It was very thought out. At the beginning of the year, I said, I'm going to put this much money into the market and I want to double that return in 1 year. That means I want to get 100% return on my investment in 1 year or less. Well, I've already achieved that goal. It's actually less, and I think I'll be like at 125% for the year. I know most people can't say that, but I was very deliberate about doing that, and that was one of my goals. And I'm really ecstatic because guess what? I'm actually going to be able to do that. Now, what's amazing is that this investment each year will 4.6x every year after year one. I ran all the numbers. It's absolutely amazing. So I never have to do anything with this investment again. And it's going to 4.6x each and every year. I think I'm probably going to have to share this with you guys. And it's in the crypto and Forex space. It's awesome. It's so amazing. It's epic. I can't talk enough about the platform and about the investment opportunities. But my bigger point is this. When I was presented with this opportunity, right, talking about when to say yes, I did all my due diligence. I was introduced to the opportunity by a very, very dear colleague of mine. Thank you so much, Deirdre. I got mad love for you. And thank you so much, Dana. I got mad love for you. And Ron and Kate, I got mad love for you all too. And so I said, is this mutually beneficial? And I was like, absolutely it is. And is it being done with sincerity, with a sincere motivation? It was like, yes. And did it solve a problem? I was like, yes, it did all three things. So I absolutely said yes. And I'm just absolutely ecstatic about where we are in the project. I'm super stoked about that. So that's on my board. We're in November. I'm really excited because when we go into our next series our next series is going to be about Wilf. And Wilf is all about what I learned from, and I'm obviously selecting a person that has inspired me, or persons that have inspired me. And some of these names you'll recognize, some you may not recognize, but I'm definitely going to share them with you. You're going to be absolutely just amazed. And I think we can all continue to be lifelong learners. I know I am, but I wanted to do this, and I wanted to just some people that I listen to, maybe like other people that I listen to from podcasts, a book I may have read. And so what I learned from, and so I'm kind of playing around with who I want to talk about and how long I want that series to go. Whether I want it to go like, I don't know if I want to close out the year with that, because we got this month right here. And right now, I think I'll be 2 episodes into that. So I may finish that up. And then, of course, I'm going to do the year in review. And that's going to be super epic and super awesome. And I'm so thank you. Just hang on and trust me, it's going to be cool. The Wilf series is going to be awesome. So let's do a quick recap. So we talked about basically when you and I should both say yes. And 1, it must be mutually beneficial. 2, the motivation must be sincere. And 3, It should always, always solve a problem. Well, guess what? That concludes today's show. So tell anyone you know suffering from slow money blues to tune in each Tuesday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow, like, and share Slow Money Blues on all social media. And don't forget to join our private Facebook group. There's all types of goodies in there. Until next time, what I want you to do is to build, launch, and grow your own personal freedom success system. And as always, I won't see you at the top, but I will see you over the top. And if you stay to the end of the show, go ahead and give yourself a big round of applause. And it's okay to give yourself a big old cheer. And because life sometimes is just what it is, it's okay to laugh too. Hey, my name is Doug Battaglia, U.S. Marine, two-time combat veteran. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.